everybody. Today I am going to talk about some more questions and answers similar to what we did a while ago. As a life coach, I keep on receiving questions and I answer them from time to time, and some questions that intrigue me and I feel they are going to benefit you, I talk about them. I handpick them, I choose them and I talk about them here. So let us begin with the question and answers thing today. The first question I am going to talk about is, why can't people keep friendships? Now this is a very interesting question because I am also a people person and I like to make friends and talk to them about so many things. But over the period of years, with my experience and talking to people like you, I have realized that keeping friendship is not easy. When you are in school, it is very easy to make friends because your pride is low, your ego is low, and you are sharing a common goal. You are wearing a uniform and attending the classes, same classes as your friends are attending. But as you graduate from high school, from college, maintaining and making new friends becomes slightly more difficult. So you should not criticize yourself that I am socially not adept or why am I not able to keep friends, because it is a natural process. What you did in high school together, you cannot do now as an adult once you have your own families or you are in different careers. It is difficult to meet also when you are into a high profile jobs. Or for example, person A has 3 children, person B has no children, does not believe in marriage. So once they meet, they may not be able to find common grounds to talk. And there's little bit amount of jealousy also if you are working in a very high profile job and other person is struggling to get a decent amount of money to make his or her ends meet. So as the circumstances changes, your friend circle also changes. However, if you still want to maintain the same friends over a period of time, both of you have to work together to make the relationship work. Such as, you should not be judging each other. You should keep your pride and ego low. You should listen to the other person's point of view and things like that. So now let's move on to our second question of the day. How to change a habit? Now I may have spoken about it a little earlier in my previous video, but let me talk about it once again because I get this question very often. Now changing a habit is similar to bringing change into your life, which is a little bit difficult. Why is it difficult? Because when you are changing yourself, you are changing the patterns of your brain, which is not easy. Your brain is used to thinking in a certain manner. So whenever you are giving the brain a different trigger, it offers resistance. And that is why people keep on falling into the previous habits. But it is not so difficult at all. Let me give you an example of a friend of mine who was a chain smoker. She was smoking since she was in school. And as the years passed, when she came into a stressful job, she began to smoke even more. One fine day, she decided, she came to me and said, Anuradha, I want to quit smoking. What do I do? So I sat with her and we thought through, and here is what I am going to discuss, what we discussed with her. I asked her, Sujata, let's call her Sujata, why exactly are you smoking? So here I am talking about changing the habit of smoking. It can be chewing your nails also. You can think about a habit which you want to change. So first of all, I asked her exactly what makes you smoke. Then she was saying, when I am very stressful or when I am down, that is the moment when I turn to smoke. Then I asked her to make a behavioral pattern throughout the day. What are the times when she's smoking the most? Similarly, if you are trying to break the habit of chewing your nails, you can think about throughout the day, what are the times when you feel like chewing your nails? This can be some other habit also. I'm just giving you an example. So once you find out that throughout the day when the urge is most, you should try to replace that urge of smoking with something else. For example, I asked Sujata to keep some green apples with her, keep a glass of water, or anything which is tasty. Whenever she is feeling like smoking, she can bite into an apple, she can go for a walk, she can have a chewing gum. So we are trying to satisfy that urge by replacing something, not quitting. She is trying to quit. It cannot happen over a period of time, but she is trying to replace the urge, and she is keeping her stock full. She knows at every day at 10:30 I feel like smoking. So before 10:30 she is keeping a basket full of fruits in front of her. And she also said, okay, I am going to try this habit for 40 days and then let me see if I am able to quit or not. She was determined. I said, okay, as a friend I am going to help you. You also can ask your friend, Rohit for example. You can ask Rohit, please Rohit, remind me every day that you should not smoke. Lastly, I asked her to change her social circle. Many times we tend to hang around with people with similar habits. So Sujata was also hanging around with people who were smokers. She used to go to the smoker's room, go for a walk with people who used to smoke. So I asked her to stop going for a walk with such people and stay back in her office or try to make new friends who are not smokers. Slowly, over a period of time, with determination, she was able to quit, and now she is a happy, healthy person. So in order to change your habit, you have to first realize why exactly you want to change. If you realize the reason, in this case Sujata, her lungs were giving away, she was coughing all the time, she did not feel healthy. You have to find your reason and give yourself some time. Be patient with yourself. Do not criticize if you fail in the first few times. I am sure after some time, 40 days, I am saying 40 days because you have to give yourself some time frame to change a habit. I am sure you are going to be successful. So this was the second question of the day. The third question of the day is going to be forgetting a bad event. Let's take about example about if somebody yelled at you in public. Somebody came to me very recently. A bad boss took over a department and a person was shouting at this guy. Let's call this person Arun. So he felt humiliated and he came to me. He was saying, how can I forget this bad episode? So I said, Arun, let's break the event into two parts. The first part is trying to trivialize the issue, and the second part is how to forget the issue. Let's discuss point A, how to reduce the significance of what has happened to you. Imagine you are standing here, Arun is standing here, and imagine Arun is imagining that he is floating above his body and seeing that the boss is shouting at Arun. Right now at this place, he's seeing very clearly that the boss is shouting at Arun. So the voices are very loud and the hurt is more. But as Arun starts floating in the air, in the atmosphere, and he raises above from the building, he is seeing himself and the boss at a very large distance. He cannot hear the voices. He can only see some hand actions and that Arun is standing. He cannot hear the voices. So he can see that yes, something is happening, but I don't know what is happening. Now imagine, now here I am talking about an NLP technique. This is called Neuro-Linguistic Programming Technique. Just to explain what am I doing here. We have done these exercises in our workshop and this is very beneficial if you practice this at home. Okay, so we were here above the building. Now then we keep on raising above. Now you are here, let's say near the surface of the earth or to a very large distance where only some spots are there. You can see the building but you cannot see Arun and the boss. So you can, from this distance, you can just see the other buildings, the life is going by. You cannot even see Arun and the boss. So that means that event is not at all significant to the entire universe, to other people. Nobody is not even aware of what is happening in the building. That event is very insignificant when you think about the entire earth, how lives are going on. So you feel a little relief that it was not a big issue after all. Then you should stay here for a minute. You should look around, look around the green trees, the beautiful sea, the mountains if you can picturize it, and slowly the impact of that hurt will go away because you're defocusing. You're focusing on the vastness of this life, the vastness of this earth. Now, this was technique A. Come back to technique B. For example, you are sitting in an office and you may have to meet that boss once again. So whenever you think about that boss, some kind of distaste comes into your mouth, your memories. Oh my God, I have to meet that person once again. In order that that negative feeling does not come into your mind, you should bring your focus to something else. As soon as some negative memory starts coming into your mind, start thinking about a beautiful rose or a beautiful white jasmine flower. You can choose a panda also. That depends entirely on what you like. So you are again replacing the negative memory. As soon as something bad comes in, you immediately think about an iPhone. So you're distracting yourself. Keep only one thing in your mind. Don't use an array of things to make things simple. So whenever something bad, that particular event is coming, you start thinking about a rose. Slowly, whenever that person's name is mentioned, you see that you start thinking about a rose. You are training your mind to think something positive. So this is how you can take care of your bad memories and forget a bad event. Now we'll talk about the last question of the day, which is upon forgiveness. Forgiveness is something that has been widely discussed about people all across the world. I am sure you must have also come across sometimes when you find it difficult to forgive people, and it is very true, because you cannot forgive people who are criminals, who have purposefully hurt you, or who are bullying you. But believe me, you have to forgive people to have peace in yourself, so that your entire nervous system, your mental health becomes okay. Many a times I tell my clients, people who are criticizing you, they lack self-esteem. They have been bullied by somebody else. So in a way, when they are shouting at you or they are hurting you, they are trying to justify this hurt in their own minds, that okay, somebody shouted at me also. So I pity such people, and therefore forgiveness becomes easy. You can try this too. If somebody has hurt you, you have to let go of that thought, that person, move on by forgiving themselves. You can do this mental exercise. Let's call that person Rashmi or whatever, Margaret. Okay, Margaret, you hurt me, but I am going to let go of you. You cannot live in my mind forever and keep on hurting me. I am forgiving you and I am moving on with my life. You say this to yourself. These are called self-affirmations, daily affirmations. If that memory is hurting you more, you should use such affirmations and speak up more often. Once you say it out, I forgive you, you will notice a sense of peace pervading your body. Your whole health is going to start becoming okay. Now, one thing I want to point out here is, you can forgive, but do not forget. Why I'm saying don't forget is because people who have hurt you, they may hurt you once again. So why put yourself into that position? They can hurt you again. And by hurting here, I'm talking about emotional hurt. You should be careful of such people, and you can forgive them, but Do not repeat your mistakes. I hope you liked the session today. I hope it helps you live a better life, live a happier life. If you like this video, I'm asking you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please press the button of like here, and do post your comments, because I want to know what your thoughts about what I am talking about with you here. Have a nice day. See you next time.